Hello, everyone. It's March once again, and there are things that we know for sure that will be happening now. One is, of course, the weather will be warming up in California. It was a beautiful 80 degrees here today and fantastic outside. Another thing we know is that there'll be some great basketball to be played. Yes, it is time for March Madness, the most awesome sporting event in the world, the greatest time in the sporting calendar these next 3 weeks. We also know, of course, that my wide array of college hats will be on full display. Yes, I am rocking the crazy Michigan hat right now in honor of Joe Gianosa, who sent me this. And after Michigan's plane nearly crashed last week, skidding off the runway, and they had to fly from Michigan to Washington, D.C. the next morning at 7:30 a.m. and then play a 12 noon game against Illinois, which they won. I told Joe if they won the tournament, the Big Ten tournament, I would wear this crazy hat in my first video. And of course, they went on to beat Purdue, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, took down the Big Ten tournament. And so here I am with the crazy Michigan hat. I do enjoy receiving hats as gifts, by the way, for running this pool. You do get some run in the videos if you provide me with a hat. I have hats like this Virginia hat from Dave Powders, SMU hat from Josh Taylor. I've got a Duke hat from Miguel Lopez. I got a Creighton hat from Jill Downing, Chris Valentino's wife. Michigan State. We got Oregon. We got Arizona. We got Gonzaga. We got from Brian Winans. Oh, the Southwest Region hat. That's rubbish. All right. We also know, by the way, that the usual suspects will be donating in our pool. People with no chance to win whatsoever. I'm talking about people like Kevin Donahue, Chris Oakes, Michael Cassetta, Kyle Lopes, Larry Manley, Ryan Casey, Dane Espigard. We got Jamison Jones in the pool. Probably can't even name teams in college basketball. We got Jackie Rudzinski. Luckily, Syracuse is not in, so maybe she does have a chance this year. Gene Powell is back. Justin Ipp, Matt Washington, all donators annually in our pool. This is the 24th annual Vector Marketing Corporation March Madness Maniacs college basketball pool. It is $50 to enter this year. Tom Skowski will be gathering up the payments and promoting the participation in the pool. He's been doing that. So the prize pool should be up with a higher entry fee and more participants this year. Daniel Reeder is our defending champion. He won last year with that awesome and epic Villanova game over North Carolina. Daniel was also the second round leader and went wire to wire to win the pool, the first person to ever win the second round leader bonus and go on to win the entire pool. To be eligible for the second round leader bonus, you have to have paid your entry by Thursday at 10 p.m. So make sure you follow the instructions on the pool page or on the Facebook page to pay Tom Skowski your entry. There will be a $200 to $250 bonus for the second round leader, depending on the number of entries. The Elite Eight will get paid at the end of the pool, about $100 for eighth place, escalating by 100 each position, up to maybe 600 plus for fourth, somewhere around 1,000 for second, and hopefully around 1,500 for first. We'll get official payouts posted once we have all the entries and we see how many people are in. There are also former champions who are looming in the pool standings, threatening to take down another pool title. People like Jim McGowan, Michigan homer, Jacob Kinnamore, and the LSU homer, Vance Pilkington, Virginia homer, Joe Gianosa, Kathleen Woods looking for Tulane in the tournament, Chris Cooper, Jeff Nostradamus Nixon, Bruce Goodman, a former champion, Earl Kelly, Darren King is likely to be back again this time. We even have two-time champions, Mike Schmid, Chris Heigl, looking for Michigan State to advance once again. Also, Scott Dennis, two-time champion who won the very first VMC March Madness Maniacs pool back in 1994. And yes, the first ever two-time champion who won 2 times in 3 years, Rebecca Taylor, also known as Rebecca Flowers. A few details that all of you should know. First of all, my entry is free, and so is Tom Skowski's for all the work that we do putting this pool together. If you have any problem with this, please feel free to delete your entry very quickly today, and then just pass on ever playing again after this. All right, that's my suggestion to you if you have a problem with those free entries. Let me also add that you are subject to some good-natured ribbing or perhaps even ruthless humiliation if and when your bracket falls apart, which will inevitably happen to most of us. Now, please forgive me if I'm not quite as fast at posting videos this time. I am now the Western Region Manager, which means that I'll actually need to do some work over the next few days while the tournament is starting. So get off me, all right? Get off me. That's why we have Tom here to help with payments and admin. And any of you can also make your own videos, by the way, and post them in our Facebook group, which is the VMC March Madness Maniacs group. Okay, so forgive me for not being as on it. I do need to get work done over the next few weeks. All right, I'm not going to comment on the usual inexplicable job the committee did at seeding some of the teams. Wisconsin got completely hosed. SMU got no love. Wichita State just plain disrespected. That sucks, but at least I feel like they got the right teams in, and the regions are pretty well balanced, except for the weak West region, which has schools that nobody east of Tucson respects anyway. But I do have one of those schools advancing to the championship game this year. In fact, I'm about to shatter many of your hopes and dreams as I reveal my illustrious picks. First of all, we've got the East region, and a lot of people are picking Duke. I really wanted to take Baylor to come out of that region, but I came to my senses, and you just got to go with Villanova. They're the defending champions. They're the number 1 seed overall. I'm not a believer in Duke. Right? Sorry, Miguel Lopez. I'm not a believer in Duke. Got to go with Villanova. In the West region, could this be the year for the Zags? It's a favorable bracket. I think they'll have a tough matchup, though, with West Virginia, which could be their stumbling block. And then Arizona looms, a team which they beat earlier this year. But that was without Alonzo Trier playing for Arizona. So, West Regional Final, Gonzaga and Arizona. I'm going with the Wildcats, Arizona, to advance out of the West region. In the South, what a loaded bracket. You got North Carolina, you got Kentucky, you got UCLA. Even Butler is pretty good. I mentioned on the Facebook page that I thought Kentucky should have been a number 1 seed this year. They probably have more players that are going to go to the NBA, and they will either go down in flames against Wichita State in the second round, or they're going to gel, they're going to get it together, they're going to make a deep run. I'm going with the Wildcats to make the Final Four out of the South region. Finally, we go to the Midwest region. 3 words: Rock, Chalk, Jayhawk. Rock, Chalk, Jayhawk, baby. Louisville is probably not as good as their seeding. Oregon, I think, is going to rally, is going to make the Elite Eight, is going to knock off Louisville and play Kansas in the regional final. But the Kansas Jayhawks will advance. I like Kansas over Kentucky in one semifinal, and I'm going with Arizona over Villanova in the other semifinal. Kansas versus Arizona in the championship. Rock, Chalk, Jayhawk. I'm going with the Kansas Jayhawks. Yes, they were the number 1 team a week ago. They lost 1 game in the Big 12 tournament where their second best player did not even play, critical key player for them. And all of a sudden, nobody's giving him any love. Nobody's giving him any respect. Everybody's talking about Duke and North Carolina and Villanova and everybody else. Kansas Jayhawks to win it all over the Arizona Wildcats in the championship game. As I said, I would shatter many of your hopes and dreams. If you have Kansas or Arizona advancing far this year, then my picks will either assure that you will be looking up at me for this entire tournament from my illustrious day 1 that I plan on having, or more likely, if you have Kansas and Arizona, then your hopes and dreams are shattered because my picks usually suck every year. That is probably the last thing we know for sure that I won't win. Way back in 1999, I did tie Jeff Nixon for the pool championship, but declared him the champion even though we didn't have a proper tiebreaker at the time because he picked the winner. That's how far ahead I was going into that final game. But ever since then, it's been futility for me, and probably going to see more of the same here as we get into these next few days. It's going to be fun. It should be maddening. It really is the best event in the sporting calendar. Thursday morning, it's on, everyone. Enjoy.